Hey everybody, welcome back to TechOdyssey. So today I'm here to talk about the Apple iPad Pro 2021. This is the 12.9-inch model. It's got the M1 chipset in it. It's really nice. It is super shiny. It's the fastest, most powerful, most amazingest iPad Pro ever invented in the history of mankind. And it's really not all that pro. And it's funny that they sell this and they try to say it makes you think about what a computer really is. And it doesn't. It's something that works really well, and it's got the M1 chip in it now, but there's nothing really there that exploits the underlying hardware. Maybe one day down the road, but you shouldn't buy technology on the promise of what tomorrow brings, because tomorrow could change. Tomorrow's a moving target. What you have right now is basically $1,100 product that you don't really see any tangible benefit in, other than the fact that it has a mini LED and it has the M1 chip in it. And a lot of people would probably tell you right now that the mini LED is not necessarily the best improvement over the LCD screen that was already in the 2020 and the 2018 model. And that's a whole nother story. But what you get at the end of the day is basically the same level of functionality, the same level of productivity, the same level of tangible power. Tangible power. And that's something that is a very important thing that I want to talk about in this video, because where the rubber meets the road, when you talk about the 2021 iPad Pro model, that's an important thing, because all of the claims that they have made in the past about the M1 and about how revolutionary it is, and about all these great things it allows you to do, aren't something that you can actually realize on a day-to-day basis. And I want to talk about that in this video, because I think that's very important to people that want to go out and buy this. But before we get into all that, I do want to say, if this is your first time stopping by the channel, thank you for being here. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button, and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Now, let's talk about the iPad Pro 2021 model. So the M1 chip is supposed to be this most amazing, revolutionary, awesomest, supreme ruler chipset of all time. And in certain situations, it can do so many great things. I have sung the praises of the M1 chip. I have it in my Mac Mini. I have it in my MacBook Air 2020 that I just bought for my wife. And I have it in this iPad Pro. And that's great. That's really cool. I like it a lot. It's even in my iPhone. But does it really do anything for you inside the iPad? And I think the answer right now really is a big no. And it's because iPadOS just doesn't exploit it. There's nothing on here with the M1 chipset that you will notice in almost any area outside of some video editing with like LumaFusion, because they still don't have Final Cut Pro on here, to where you're actually going to see this amazingly awesome, mind-blowing benefit. And even that is not as big of a deal as it is on the desktop version that's running macOS, because over there it does really great and amazing things. On macOS you can do so much, because before it was always so frustrating. If you wanted to get a MacBook Air, you wanted to get a MacBook Pro 13-inch without the GPU, if you wanted to get a Mac Mini, the M1 chipset has opened up so many doors over there for productivity, for power, and especially in the content creator realm, because you can do so much. The 8 cores in the GPU and in the CPU allow you to edit and render and export 4K video like it's nothing. It outperforms my 2019 MacBook Pro 16-inch with the i7, 16 gigs of RAM, and a dedicated GPU. All for about $600-700. That is amazing. Like right now, I would say if you were to go get the best pound for pound computer out there in the world, you could get the Mac Mini, and it obliterates anything in the PC world around the $600-700 price point. It's just amazing. And I've been a PC guy my whole life. So you would think bringing that same level of awesomeness over to the iPad Pro, the tablet that makes you rethink what a computer is, it doesn't really make you rethink what a computer is. It makes you rethink what you could do if they actually put the pro level functions and features and software on here to allow you to use it like a computer. Like, that's great. You can go buy the $300 Magic Keyboard and then you can put this on there, and then you can use that accessory, and then it makes you feel like a computer, but it's still not quite the same, and it's still at that point $1,500. See, the Mac Mini is a great deal because it legitimately is a computer, and it does so many amazing things, and it's so cheap. And then you look at what you can get with the MacBook Air, it's under $1,000. You can do so much with that. It's insane. And then you get a tablet. And the tablet's nice. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and try and discredit this piece of hardware because it's super thin, it's super light, it's super powerful, it has great speakers, it's zippy, it has a beautiful screen that has some like terrible blooming issues because of the way that the mini LED works that you're not going to notice in 99% of you actually using it. I mean, there's different camps for this. Some people are like, oh, the light blooming thing is the worst thing ever. And then some people are like, it doesn't really matter, who cares? I mean, I'm kind of in the middle. I think that Apple should have done a better job with it. I don't think the mini LED is quite the most amazing technology they could have put in here. I would have rather seen a full OLED or just leave it with the LCD because the LCD doesn't have those uniformity issues whenever it comes to the lighting. So it's beautiful. It's got a really nice looking screen on it. I like it. If you use light mode, that's nothing you really ever encounter. If you use dark mode, it might be a little more frustrating, but that's not why we're here today. It is an amazing tablet. You can do so many tablet-y things on here. But to me, this is not a laptop replacement. And when you look at that stuff, you have to look at use case scenario and what it brings to the table. Do you have portability? Yes, you do. But if you want the true laptop replacement feature, then you have to have a keyboard. And to get a keyboard, you got to spend like another $300 to get your foot in the door with the Magic Keyboard. And now we're talking about like a $1,500 tablet. You can get the MacBook Air for under $1,000. And the MacBook Air is much more versatile, and you have the full open macOS that gives you all the leverage, all the functionality, all the things that tap into the M1 and make it so great. Is it good on a tablet? Yes, but it's just as good as it is my phone. It plays Boom Beach really well. It does iMessage really well. It does anything that you throw at it really well, but you're still handicapped and limited by what you get with iPadOS. iPadOS is not as built out. It's not as amazing as having the actual macOS. If they put macOS on here, it would be a completely different story. I think they would have to call it a macOS tablet, though, because if you had macOS running on here versus iPadOS, it would be a dream. Like, I would love that. I would like spend an extra $400 to get macOS on an iPad as opposed to iPadOS, because I've been saying this for years. iPads are like really big iPhones. They're limited by the software. The hardware is great. It's so amazing. They go out and they preach all the great things that you can do with the M1. And you can on your computer. It works really well. So if you want something that makes you rethink what a computer is, why would you get something that's more handicapped than a computer when you can get the MacBook Air that's going to do the exact same thing minus the touchscreen functionality, which, I mean, that's not that big of a deal. If you want touchscreen functionality, get an iPad. Go get an iPad Air. That'll do everything that you want it to do. And having an iPad Pro is nice, but it's not the same. It's not a substitute. It's not a replacement for a Mac computer. It'll allow you to do some things that make you feel like you're using a computer if you buy all the stuff to do it. But at the end of the day, if you want something that's going to allow you to do everything you want to the max, and you still need a computer. So I don't think this is quite a replacement yet. I don't think it's as pro as they lead you on to be. And when I've been using this since I got it about 3 weeks ago. I got it on launch day, and for me, in the way that I use it, it's the same as having a 2020 iPad Pro. It's the same as the 2018 iPad Pro, and this goes back to how Apple treats their operating systems. What's the point of having all this massive power under the hood if there's no way you can actually realize it? iPadOS just doesn't allow you to do that. And you look at the iPhone 6S has the latest version of iOS on it. That means that you can do basically everything from a day-to-day perspective on the iPhone 6S, which is super old now, as you can on the iPhone 12. Does it have the same level of RAM? No. Does it have the same processor? No. Does it have the same camera, battery life? No, it doesn't have those things, but it's still relevant. You can still use it, and it still works pretty nice. This right here, from a day-to-day perspective, feels exactly the same as using the regular iPad. The normal one with the button and the big bezels and the 32 gigabytes of storage. It's just one of those things where they try to make it seem like you can do so much great stuff with this to where you don't need a computer anymore. They try to sell you on the M1, making it seem like you have all of this additional power and great things at your fingertips, and you do. It's right at your fingertips, but you can't actually touch it. You can't actually make it do all the great things the M1 is designed to do because it's limited by the operating system. So, if you want to rethink what a computer is, that's a great slogan if you want to reimagine what you can do with your computer at a $1,000 price point versus a PC, because you can go out and you can get the MacBook Air, or you can go get the Mac Mini and you can edit and render 4K video, and you can do all these great things because macOS is a very smooth and seamless operating system that I have come to appreciate and enjoy very much. Or you can go spend $1,100 to get 128 gigabytes of storage on an iPad Pro that doesn't give you any extra benefit over the 2020 model, that doesn't feel any different than the 2018 model. It just has a different screen, it's shiny, it's newer, and it costs more money. I mean, that's really it in a nutshell, folks. Yes, I'm sure there is a limited group of people out there right now that are saying, oh my gosh, this is the best thing that Apple has ever made. This is great for me. This does X, Y, Z. It takes me to the moon with all the characteristics and all the great performance that it brings to my life. 99% of people aren't going to realize that. You're going to pick this up. Life is going to be no different. It's just not realized. It's not something that they unlock the potential for because it's not the hardware. It's not the screen. It's not everything that they built around it. It's the operating system. And until they make the operating system more like macOS, or they bring these pro-level functions and features to it, which I think they will one day, it's just not there yet. We don't have a lot of the stuff that could exploit this hardware to make it so much more better, and a lot of that is the pro-level series functionality, which is what the iPad Pro is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the pro-level version of the iPad. Like, it's supposed to have compelling reasons to get it over the iPad Air, over the regular iPad. I mean, that's why it exists. But what it exists for, you can't really do. You get all the same level of functionality as you do on the iPad Air and on the iPad. You just pay more money for it, and you've got this really nice camera on the back so you can look really cool at your kids' T-ball games. But at the end of the day, it's just not that pro. And it's not going to be pro until they can unlock the operating system and take advantage of all the amazing things you can do with this chip that's faster, better, stronger, more awesomer in an iPad. And they got to find a way to lower the price, because why would you want to spend $1,100 to get the entry model and then spend $300 for a keyboard just so you can do some of the same things you can do on a Mac Mini or a MacBook Air significantly cheaper? I mean, that's really what it is. And until we get there, I don't think it's that great. Is it good? Yeah. Is it fun to use? Sure. Yeah, it's really cool. I like it. But it's not there yet. And until they can unlock all that stuff and give us something that's more like an actual desktop operating experience, you're not really going to get it. So that's all I've got in this video. Hopefully it's been helpful. Hopefully it's provided some insight for you into my thoughts and feelings on the M1 chip inside the iPad Pro 2021, and how it's just not the most amazing thing yet. And maybe it will be one day, but right now it's not. And until that day, maybe wait and maybe hold off. I don't really see any reason for anyone to go buy this right now. Unless you just don't have an iPad and you want to get one, sure, buy the new one. Buy the latest one. But if you have one already, there's no compelling reason to upgrade. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comments section. I'll get back with you. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.